Hello and welcome everybody to the Join the League Season 3. We are HeflaTV and we are proud to present to you a 2-game series between First Departure and Mineski. Both of those two teams actually have played one series each today, both against Immunity as well as Mineski. They tied it up 1-1, whereas First Departure took it 2-0. So we'll see how this will actually end up. My name is Coucher and I am joined for this game by Blackadder.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
So, did you get to see any of the games or just coming here in the dark?
I didn't actually get to see any of their games because it's god-awful o'clock early in the day here in the UK, and yeah, I'm not much of a morning person.
So, as in you're a normal person, I guess.
I guess.
Looking at the bans now, actually, Mineski, they give a lot of credit to the Miracle Naga by the looks of it. The two games we saw against, or I saw, casted against the Immunity for First Departure, they didn't go anywhere near a Naga. It wasn't banned and still untouched. So Mineski, maybe just giving a little bit too much credit to that hero. I guess better safe than sorry for them, maybe?
Quite possibly. I mean, it can disrupt any form of team fight and breaks the momentum completely. But of course, the choice here by First Departure to ban out the Brood leaves Lycan for Mineski. Of course, this is Radiant side Lycan.
I mean, Radiant side Lycan isn't as scary, but nonetheless a pretty strong hero. Stopping the push is going to be so extremely hard with First Departure. Start with a Shadow Shaman and going for a Tidehunter. Tidehunter, if he gets his Blink Dagger with a decent timing, yes, it's going to be extremely good in just team fighting while the push is happening by Mineski. Just blink in, pop the Ravage and then just follow up there. But Mineski, do they go for more push?
Possibly here, but I like the pickup of the Tide because it's going to force the Lycan to think at least going for a BKB, because otherwise he can get caught out with the Ravage, which will then set up for the Shadow Shaman to come in with all his CC. But there is the problem here. Do Mineski then decide to put the Lycan elsewhere instead of the safe lane? Because I'm assuming this is an off-lane Tide, and, well, Tide does well against melee heroes. But with the Tinker pickup, going to be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, just picking it up pretty damn early. Tidehunter Ravage's range is decent enough to maybe deal with the Tinker, but of course, you would still want to go for at least some extra pickup, something like a Clockwork or Storm Spirit, maybe even a Spectre safe lane. Of course, having a Tidehunter already most likely will be the off lane, so a Clockwork is kind of out of occasion unless you want to do some weird lanes or have a support Clockwork or something crazy like that. But Lycan and Tinker, they do synergize because Tinker can TP to the Wolves.
Yes, very true. It's quite the scary combination. You consider that the Wolves have the Invis just like that Beastmaster Hawk when it's in position. That's going to be oh so powerful here for Mineski. And if I remember right, it's Jacko who plays the Tinker. And we mentioned before he plays quite an insane Tinker in a previous cast.
Yeah, I mean, he's the mid lane player for them, at least for the time being. I haven't seen his Tinker, but I actually heard you talking about it as well. I do believe it was banned out, or did you actually get to see it?
I believe it was banned out, but who was co-casting with me? I think it was actually Hefla at the time. He was commenting that it was a very strong hero for Mineski.
Well, so we might see the just full force of that hero, or the player-hero combination that is. But looking at the secondary set of bans now, Mineski, they actually ban out a Juggernaut. Juggernaut is good against the Tinker in the sense that you can still sustain a push a little bit with the healing ward. Plus, First Departure, in the last two series I've casted from them, they have ran the Juggernaut support in 2 out of 4 games. So I guess it's kind of a justified ban here.
Also, the Juggernaut does bring a good amount in terms of ability to push with that healing ward. I mean, that's one of the strongest things about the hero, the healing ward. It's percentage-based healing. There is, to my knowledge, no other percentage-based heal in the game.
Yeah, it's a pretty damn ridiculous ability, to be honest. Especially if you don't have anybody to come up close. So actually, Lycan Wolves could have been used to just try to snipe it down every time, especially since the Wolves are invis. Would have forced First Departure either to go for an early gem or something of the like, maybe. But we won't get to see it. And of course, Omni Slash is also just so good in trying to force the Tinker down, just tunnel vision, Omni Slash the Tinker and be done with it.
Indeed, especially if you can get on top of him early or get an early Aghanims, but the Tinker will most likely be going for a Ghost Scepter and should be safe from that Omni Slash.
Well, I guess that's probably enough about Tinker. That hero is just crazy strong as it is anyway. To be honest, in my opinion, Master Machines shouldn't even exist. That ability is ridiculous, but Mineski, they do went out with Razor now. The draft is definitely slowed down from the start of it. As First Departure now, do they ban out more push? Because if Mineski would get some more it could get rather scary, especially if the Tinker with the Boots of Travels just provides the pushing support, laying down March of the Machines, making it to the first departure. If they want to team fight, defending the push, they're going to have to take a lot of damage while doing so.
I would think for Mineski here, if they want to, they could run the Enchantress, and we have seen them run Enchantress in recent games, I believe. The Enchantress would give them the ability to heal up, the ability to push in, something that equally the Juggernaut could do with that healing ward, of course. But you get my point, something that can add to the push and bring a heal. He'll be the natural urn carrier, then you've got the Nature's Attendants, can be a very powerful choice. And the other one, of course, is Chen, although less common in its current incarnation than the all-important Enchantress.
Yeah, both of them have kind of fallen off, but Chen is just completely left out, 100% almost even. I don't really remember when was the last time I saw that hero. But first departure, picking up a Jakiro, he can also just try to kind of pressure the towers from afar. Ice Path can potentially catch the Lycan, not the easiest thing to do maybe. But the Liquid Fire definitely is a great ability when just trying to siege towers.
Yes, agreed. And that raises my next question. For first departure, is this the core Jakiro we've seen some teams run lately, or is this a support Jakiro?
It can still go either way, and I mean, it's always nice when you have the option to just adapt in the draft, leave some heroes as supports while just making others go into core roles, for example. I guess with the next few picks we will find out. I wouldn't mind a core Jakiro, to be honest, but I mean, they probably want to end this game early as it is, up against the Tinker. You really don't want to take it late game. And actually, looking at the bans, the last ban from first departure was the Clockwork itself. I guess it wouldn't have fit in their lineup anyway, like we just briefly mentioned as well, the Tidehunter already being their offlaner most likely.
Well, you mentioned support Clockwork doesn't happen often. The only time I can remember it being ran, and I want to say it was by Roxkiss, but it could have been by Empire. I'm pretty sure this was Goblak drafting. It was Clockwork Bane as a support combo, which of course Nightmare into Cogs, very powerful combination.
By the way, do you have your in-game mic enabled?
I should do.
We'll see. Some guy on Twitch chat, Rage, said that, or not Rage, Franticore, said that you can't hear the co-caster, so I mean, mine should be on because I didn't change anything from the previous cast.
Yeah, apparently mine was not set. It must have been reset when I relogged Dota 2 lately.
And not a big deal. We're still in the draft, so probably won't miss any action by that time. But Nature's Prophet, the pick for first departure here, so they're actually going to go for a pretty reasonable amount of push. And between the Liquid Fire and the Mass Serpent wards, they actually have a pretty solid amount of the push that can't be stopped by March of the Machines.
Yeah, indeed, and this is honestly a good choice here for first departure. It gives them the ability to get damage on towers without being pushed back by Tinker so much. I mean, sure, you've still got the Nature's Prophet there, but as you mentioned, the Treants will be destroyed by that March of the Machines fairly quickly. And my one problem here with first departure's draft, and especially after seeing a Timbersaw, they are all fairly squishy with the exception of the Tide. And the Tide can't stand and fight on his own.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Jakiro, as far as supports go, he does have a slightly bigger health pool, but that really doesn't give you too much if you're just running on support items, as in boots, more or less. And towards this Timbersaw is just such a great pick. It is so good against counter pushing. Just lay down the chakram and look everything die, pretty much. So I really like this pickup. And I just see some issues in first departure's ability to push here.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. They're going to need to get early towers, sure, but if this Tinker comes online, I think first departure will be on the clock. And I've mentioned it many times in the cast, time is the fire here in which first departure will burn. They need something that can stand and fight in even the march, something tanky. Maybe, what could they use here that brings some good negative armor as well? An Alchemist comes to mind in a carry position. They could go for something like... A Lifesteal wouldn't go amiss in this one.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the Nature's Prophet, which you can invest into and you can get across the map. The Blink Dagger's on Tide and Shadow Shaman, so you can invest into that. And he'll be tanky enough to survive some of the March of the Machines when he's got the Rage up.
I guess it is a viable option. Of course, just Lifestealer against Lycan doesn't do much of anything, but then again, most carries can't catch up to him. To go for a Witch Doctor instead. So it might indeed be that Jakiro in the core role here. And Witch Doctor, just Voodoo Restoration is something that may help them deal with the March of the Machines, or at least to some extent.
To an extent, yes. However, March of the Machines at max rank does 40 damage per hit machine. The healing from Voodoo Restoration, I believe, caps out at 28 a second.
It's actually, I think, 40 per second. Yeah, it's 40 per second. So
Okay.
it's
Oh, I was thinking mana per second. Yeah, my bad.
it still can't keep up completely because there are just way too many little machines running around over the ground.
I feel like First Departure are at a disadvantage here. Just their draft makes them very squishy, and you consider Timbersaw. He's going to be in their face, killing them with, well, saw blades. You've got Tinker, Laser, Rockets, March, Lycan, high physical damage, and then AA to snipe it all off. And that's before even mentioning the Rubik. And he can do a okay amount of magical damage. And the thing about the Rubik here, it's not the damage that I credit the Rubik for, it's the null field. I'm expecting points in null field on this Rubik at least relatively early, just because look how much magic damage First Departure have. If you're avoiding a percentage of that through null field, that's what Play Hard is there for.
Yeah, it definitely would be pretty nice for him to just put those early points into it. Usually when that's the case, that enemy has a high amount of magic damage, Rubiks just go for Telekinesis level 2, Maximum Fate Bolt, and then the null field. I mean, of course, he can leave the Telekinesis at 1 as well if he wants to just straight up null field.
Well, it's an increase of 0.5 across the two portions of the stun. So 0.5 seconds increase versus, I believe it's 5%. Yes, 5% magical resistance. So 1 point telekinesis, maybe 4 points into Fade Bolt, and then 4 points into Null Field might be the choice here. And that would not surprise me in the slightest.
It might happen, but to just go over the lineups really fast, for Mineski up on the Radiant side, Choven will be playing up on the Lycan on the offlane for the time being, with Play Hard on the Rubik, Pros still be supporting him with an aggressive try, Chisivash on the Ancient Apparition, leaving Checo to play that mid lane Tinker, and their safe lane will be 5-5, 9-3 on the Timbersaw.
Which is Oa, for those that don't know the name at this point.
Well, I thought who the hell he is. I know in the first game, Mineski versus Immunity, NMA was playing in, but I think NMA was an ex-Mineski player and the Mineski manager or founder or something. So I was like, did he change his name mid-game or
Speaking of Oa, he's chopping apart Dapper at this point, and he has a haste rune as well, so he could potentially bring down the tide. And I'm not surprised if we'll see a dive for this one. A couple more right clicks, or one more right click, and maybe a chain will do it, or not even a chain, a whirling death, and it certainly will be to pick up the first blood for Dapper, and he's going to go down in exchange to the tower, but still, first blood advantage going the way of the Timbersaw.
Yeah, that's a huge kill actually. I mean, anytime you can get the first blood, it's mostly worth it, and he's not going to be behind in XP as well, because both of them already TP'd back. And yeah, both of them are there for the first creep fall, so extremely good start, just making good use of the haste rune. Dafa almost survived thanks to the Timber change, the Whirling Death just debuff expiring, him getting some health back. But just was enough for Ova anyway in the end.
Well, we didn't get a chance to introduce FD in this one,
Shackles on the Ancient Apparition, they might go for yet another kill this time around. The Ice Path actually off target, but the right clicks will do the job anyway. Laser into Miracle. Jacko, he really wants to go for it. Heat-seeking missiles are level 1. It's going to be enough. The last right click, yes it is. A 2 for 2, all in all, 1 minute in.
Yeah, I was hoping for a chance to introduce the side of First Departure there, but First Departure thinking otherwise. But nonetheless, we do have KS up on that Nature's Prophet. We have Lubby on the Shadow Shaman. We've got Kai on the Witch Doctor. Over in the mid lane, we've got Miracle on the Jakiro. And finally, that does, of course, leave Dapper, the unfortunate first blood victim, on the Tide Hunter.
Yeah, it's just the first blood on Ova will help him immensely, especially if he gets those early arcane boots as well on top of it. Can just lay down the hurt with the Whirling Death, which in such a matchup, melee versus melee, usually is getting maxed out as well. And usually Tide Hunter is the one that just completely craps on enemy. Oh, actually top lane Play Hard might be in trouble. Lobby, he can't get in range for the shackles. Actually,
and again, turn around Telekinesis. Lubby taking some good damage here with Howl Up as well. Could go down, but not with that cast coming through. No more right clicks can reach the Shadow Shaman. He is safe.
oh man, just so much action early on. We're only 2 minutes in, and they just want to fight relentlessly everywhere.
It's the best kind of game, relentless aggression. Best thing to watch. But speaking on the topic of relentless aggression, when you've got a Tinker who did pick up a kill already, as well as having decent time online at this point. Sure, Miracle is trying to harass him as much as possible with Liquid Fire, but it's a Tinker. I reckon he's going to be fine in the short run. If he then can get that early set of travels, we're looking at a very aggressive lineup. You've got Of course, Tinker can go straight onto the Lycan Balls we mentioned in the draft. You've got the aggression that a Timbersaw can put out, and that is possibly the most aggressive hero available for Mineski at the moment. And you've got to consider how much damage is Oa going to do on this Timbersaw. He's going to be able to do a lot of pure damage, most importantly, for one, and two, any damage to Dafa is going to be increased because the Whirling Death drains the primary stat, which is strength.
Yeah, it's actually going to be extremely hard for FD to try to fight it all once Oa actually hits that level 6, comes in with the Chakram. Just the difference between a level 5 and level 6 Timbersaw is huge as far as damage output is concerned. So overall he's farming pretty well. Actually it's even between Dafa and Oa, 15 and 2 compared to 15 and 1. So Dafa with the Anchor Smash, he's just holding his own.
Well, he's going to be able to hold his own, at least up until you mentioned the level 6. Once Chakram's online, I don't think Dafa's going to want to stay on this lane too long, because he is susceptible to being picked off, especially when he's this aggressive. I mean, we've seen a Timbersaw Spider-Man through the trees before, but when you're this far down the lane, he will be able to get on top of you fairly quickly.
But you just look at the sentry wards coming out for the Ancients. One sentry was used earlier on from first departure, now actually Witch Doctor came in to place down another one, just to prevent the Ancients from being stacked for the Tinker. But there's even a Radiant Sentry, yet they haven't rewarded any of those. Both of them are in range, I think, or should be.
I believe the second one should just be out of range. I'm not 100% certain on that, though.
Well, whatever the case may be, the Radiant side didn't find any of them. They were actually pinging out, I think, almost the exact location there as well, but...
Rotation, however, comes in on Chaos top lane. He's been forced into the trees. Rotation from the back lines by Playhard. Going to go straight for Chaos. Can he get the telekinesis in time? Yes, he damn well can, and Chaos in a lot of trouble now. Thrown down. A couple more right clicks will spell his doom, and he's not going to be able to get out of this one. He will go down, and that is picked up by the Lycan, but we do get a rotation in from Lubby. Is he going to be able to do anything here, though? He's been seen by everyone, and, well, Playhard will drop that Fade Bolt. We get the rotation in from Kai, but Jesse Vash is here. A couple more right clicks from him, and that could spell his doom. Shackles under the tower. Is it going to be enough? I don't think so. Lubby goes down, and now looking for Kai. Here come the more wolves, and I think Kai's just going to be forced back here. I can't see him wanting to hang around, but he is throwing some good harassment into Joven. But in comes KS. Can he get their return kill here? They're going to go straight onto Jesse Vash. Couple of right clicks. Could be enough here, as well as the cast dropper, which is going to bounce between Playhard and Joven, and break a Clarity as well. But AA goes down in favour of first departure here, and I want to say 2-for-1 trade in favour of Mineski.
Yeah, they definitely came out ahead, especially considering that they dove so hard for it. And actually, in the meantime, the Tidehunter was also killed in the bottom lane. I do believe I just set up that solo kill. Maybe getting the level 6, which Tidehunter still lacks. So on the Timbersaw, I mean, if that hero gets off to a good start, gets those early levels, we talked about just his burst potential, and actually first departure, they just don't have too many tanky heroes as well, which also came up already during the draft. You just brought it up. So I fear a little bit for first departure, since they are falling behind already.
I'd completely agree, and it's going to be a very rough game if first departure want to be able to fight their way back into this. And you can see Miracle's doing everything he can to try to keep these towers pushed with his liquid fire, but still, you've got Jesse Vash, who's soaking experience on this mid lane while the Tinker is absent. Speaking of Tinker, down on the bottom lane, we've got rotation in from Lubby and from KS, and the Ravager's going to drop. They're going to be able to bring down Oa and potentially turn around for Playhard here. I don't see any Tinker, so that was a bit of a miscall. Then again, in comes that Tinker. Mushroom Machine's going to drop. Laser, rockets, Lubby goes down. Now looking for more kills potentially. Do they go into KS here? KS is taking a large amount of damage from that Mark of the Machines, but Jacko at this point does not have the mana, and that is the big problem here.
Well, I guess he can just be happy with that one kill as well. He definitely would have wanted more, but I mean, one kill is better than 0, and of course just getting that much closer to his travels now. Miracle mid lane. Actually, Paralyzing Cask won't bounce onto anybody else, although Joven is dropping extremely low just to the liquid fire.
Yeah, and I think we've got a disconnect here from Kai, however, and that could be fairly unpleasant, considering where he is. He's in the middle of a creep wave, under the tower near enough, and yeah.
Yeah, I think he's dead 100% unless Chaco just has Mercy.
Mercy, we'll see. Do we have Mercy here? No, we definitely don't. Jacko says there'll be no Mercy from me. Equally though, tower will be denied up by Joven on that Lycan, and could we potentially see a push coming mid here, trying to force back Miracle, since I don't think they can hold a push at this point. Miracle just doesn't have enough in terms of levels.
Oh well, it's over. What? He got the kill top lane.
Yeah, the
Bloody hell.
Timbersaw of Oa is starting to come online. He's level 8. He has that Chakram. He can kill pretty
But
much
mid
anything.
lane, they get the Hex onto check. Ice Path follow up as well. They need a little bit more damage. Shackles, paralyzing cast to bounce around as well. Jessivash, is he in the clear yet? Liquid Fire comes out again from Miracle. Actually, Dual Breath connects, slows him down, Dafa. He's rotating in. If they can get the Gush, anything to slow him down any further. Actually, he's on the run. Ice Path will be off target. Nicely dodged as well. Liquid Fire, nope. Miracle can't get in range, I think. And
Not without any Blink Dagger. He's going to be safe. That was too big a distance to go. But then again, Joven is still lurking around. And I'm wondering what we can see here. Do we see any attempt on this Lycan? We do still see 3 heroes of First Departure lurking in the vicinity. So they could bring down the Lycan should they want to.
And actually, Dafa just farming up the enemy's tank as well, away from the Tinker. He takes almost no damage, thanks to that Kraken Shell being level 2 and Anchor Smash, of course, as well, helping out. So, just Shakiro started pushing the tier 2 already. Tier 1, of course, was denied because everybody was just boxed off away from the tower before.
Yeah, which was in all honesty good for Mineski. They denied the tower, but the tier 2s are already being pushed, and I did not see this coming. It's a very squishy lineup, but it does have a lot of pushing power behind it. The Lycan Wolves are harassing Miracle a fair amount, but Miracle does have support nearby of Kai and Dafa. If they can rotate onto lane, they can do some good amount of work, but that's the question. Do they really want to rotate into this? Because every time Miracle comes forward, drops a Liquid Fire, he's eating at least a Cold Feet for his efforts. And you do still, of course, have that Lycan nearby who has the Metamorphosis ready to go, and he'll even drop Macropire just to keep the lane pushed.
Yeah, and actually, they have been just catching up as far as last hits go as well. The Mineski, the top 3 cores of them, or the 3 cores of them used to be the top, but suddenly it's only the Timbersaw now being up there. And First Departure, they're really just emphasizing on the push at the moment. Of course, their lineup is designed to do that. They really don't want to wait it out for the Tinker to just get huge and be able to stop the push so easily.
Completely agreed. Then again, pings go out onto Jacko there. He's going to be using March and trying to farm up, but Miracle's right here, passing straight through the March. He has vision on Jacko. We do have max level onto Teleport from KS, but he's just used it. He won't be able to get here in time to bring down Jacko. Ice Path, does it connect? Yes, it does, but now we need some more damage. The Breathe Fire, the Dual Breath does connect on both swings. One more Liquid Fire should be enough to bring down the kill here. And there's going to be no escape from this one, especially with Kai and Lubby rotating in, and that's a good kill on the Tinker, but now they need an objective off this. Maybe this bottom tier 1 tower would be the easiest order of business.
Yeah, I mean, the Tinker's Putus travels actually have been getting delayed. He was pretty damn close to it, but he decided to go for Soul Ring still before finishing up the travels. So he's about 1000 gold away, which definitely isn't too close. And Miracle, he's just pushing up mid lane solo. He isn't too afraid what Mineski has. I'm afraid he's going to get punished at some point because of it.
I would be inclined to agree. Generally, a solo Jakiro pushing, you would be hesitant if he's got support around, but they can see everyone else on the spot lane, and here comes that punishment. Cold Feet, Telekinesis, this is going to latch, and Miracle will take a fall, and the kill does go the way of the Rubik, which is going to help him out in terms of getting some gold up, maybe going for Arcanes.
Well, I guess he can just say to his team, guys, space created, you got the tier 1 bottom lane. I guess economically it's definitely worth it, although Jakiro just doesn't want to die, wants to get as high a level as possible early on, either to max out the Dual Breath or just the Ice Path as well on top of the Liquid Fire. He is only 100 gold away from his mech though, now that the tower went down, and is he in some trouble?
Oa? I don't think Oa's in any trouble now. Kai should be able to get at least one cast, but that should be it. I think he's going to be able to TP out here. Then again, you do have Lubby nearby. Chakram goes out. He might be in a lot of trouble here, and I did not expect this. And here comes the rotation from Dafa as well. But one chain can't get far enough away and will be brought down. 4-man rotation, though, for the Timber.
Man, just the damage output of the Timber of Miracle. Is it a rinse and repeat of the last situation? The Cold Feet with the Telekinesis, are you kidding me? They need a little bit extra Miracle. Actually, the Cold Feet, they don't proc. He might even be able to escape because of this. Tranquil Boots for some extra movement speed, and he's safe.
Honestly, I expected him to go down again. He's being very aggressive where he shouldn't be alone. I mean, Jakiro, synonymous for being a support, synonymous for being fairly squishy in that respect as well. Sure, he has 4 base armor, 9 considering he's got components to a mech up, but he is here alone repeatedly with less than 500 health, and now he's dealing with the March of the Machines, drops the Macropire as well. He's determined to get this tier 2 tower, but Fortification is popped. They want to deny this one. Throws one more Liquid Fire, that'll put the debuff on the tower, and it will go down. It was not denied, and Oa chasing Miracle. Can he get on top of the target though? We do hear an Aegis Prophet come in, wants to try to get some damage, but no, he'll cancel his TP, and Miracle realizes, yeah, I'm dead. Eats the laser, goes down. But while that's going on, Roshan in favor of KS, especially with that Aegis as well.
Yeah, it's I guess space created again, although I have to say Lycan actually got the tier 2 at the top lane at the same time the Rosh was going on. Tafa even TP'd in, but by that time the tower is already down. Although the Tide does have enough gold to just purchase his Blink Dagger now. So that's going to be one good point of them.
I'm wondering if Dafa even wants the Blink at this point, because he has so much CC on his side and the range of the Ravage in terms of its radius is fairly large. Do you really think he needs that Blink?
Oh man, he's gonna die at the moment. The Wolves chasing him down the Anchor Smash. Frostbite will be enough, another heat-seeking missile. And he actually does die. KS even TP'd in. I mean, what are the alternatives for him actually? Going pipe straight out maybe?
A pipe, in my mind, would be a good choice. It will help him out in terms of surviving all that magical damage. Speaking of magical damage, Kai trying to get some damage onto Oa here, and in comes the TP from Jacko, but the cast bouncing between the two. Might buy him enough time to get the hell out of dodge, and he does not want to hang around, and I completely understand that one.
Oh, Rubik stole teleportation actually at the moment. They're going to go for KS.
They did actually kill him off once. He's already used the Aegis. And now he's going to be trying to get the Orchid Malevolence up on himself, but that's going to be, in my mind, a choice that's still going to leave him fairly squishy. You've got a heavy push lineup. Surely you'd think Necrobook. What can you use to buff push? More push. And sure, the Orchid will help you in bringing down these squishier int-based heroes on Mineske's lineup, but it's still a, I'd say, ballsy choice, just because it doesn't help KS out in any form of survivability bar adding a silence to the team.
Well, in a sense it may, because Timbersaw usually just comes into the middle of the fight, but once you silence up the Timbersaw, his damage output really isn't that high at all. So maybe it is just to bait in. Timbersaw comes in with a chain, suddenly gets silenced, although even with the silence, Timbersaw picks himself up a Vanguard. So even while silenced, it might be hard for First Departure to actually get a kill on him.
Tide did actually pick up the Blink Dagger in the end of that. Maybe he was just holding some gold for a buyback, but I'm still unsure if he actually needs the Blink at this point, unless he wants to be the one initiating the fight instead of being the counter-initiator. But Ice Blast is going to drop, connects only onto Miracle's Jakiro. He might actually fall to this. It would only take, no, not enough ticks. I was going to say it'd take about 4 more ticks, but no Aghanims present, of course. In the meantime, we do get initiation going on to Joven in this mid lane. A couple of right clicks could be more than enough. They're going to commit the Ravage to bring down this Lycan, and that's going to be a pretty damn big kill going the way of First Departure.
The Ravage, I mean, I understand the want, the need to commit it, although I do believe with the Paralyzing Cast, with that one bounce, Lobby could have gotten close enough for the Hex Shackles follow-up on the Shadow Shaman. But better safe than sorry, kill secured at the moment.
Well, at this point we're still only 15 minutes in the game, and the graph is 3k the way of First Departure, so use your cooldowns when you have them available, in all honesty. Speaking of cooldowns, they're going to use teleportation, they're going to look straight for Jesse Vash on that Ancient Apparition, and he will surely go down to the Jakiro. In the meantime, in comes the support. Oa is here, wants to get some good damage across the board. First Whirling Death and a Chakram brings down the Nature's Prophet, now looking for Miracle. Chain lands, but there isn't enough burst damage left from Oa.
Oh man, I just think First Departure, they needed to have a much better start than they actually did in this game to be able to snowball out of control, just take their tier 2 after tier 2 and just start pressuring high ground before any of Mineski's heroes has too much farm. But Tinker, he is still number 1 in Nerf at the moment. Timbersaw is doing pretty damn well, and even Lycan just holding his own. And actually he's going for a straight up BKB, by the looks of it, has the Ogre Club for it. Actually might be in trouble mid lane. They get the Blink Hex from Lobby. Shackles to follow up, maybe Ice Buff actually off target. Shackles are there, Paralyzing Cast comes out as well. They need a little bit more, he pops the Shapeshift. He goes down though in the end.
With a Death Ward it's more than enough, but now we get the potential for a counter kill. Down to the Ice Blast and the Wolves goes the Witch Doctor. Unfortunately no one to pick up that gem for the side of Mineski, but they'll go trading hands straight to, I believe that went onto the Tide, didn't it? Yes, the gem's on the Tide now, which in my mind is where it should have been in the first place. The Tide is the hardest target for Mineski to kill, the tankiest target, the one with Kraken Shell, for damn sake.
Yeah, I mean, Kraken Shell is such a sick ability. I mean, it's level 4 as well, of course, but Midnight Miracle, is he gonna get ganked again? There is a smoke on play hard and Shishiwash. Oh, this time around it looks like he backs off just in time.
Well, he falls back to where Lubby is, and we still have a 3-man rotation converging on these First Departure members. Miracle will be the prime target here, considering he's the core, really. Lubby would be, in my mind, extra. He would be a collateral. If they can kill Lubby as well, that's perfect, but they're going to look for the courier. Unfortunately, they can't find it in time. Or can they? Yes, they damn well can with the rotation into the Nature's Prophet, but now Oa comes into the middle and makes good damage going across the board. Mass Serpent towards the commit, but now Shackles onto Oa, under that Mass Serpent. Can they bring him down in time? Lubby forced into the tree line. He needs to survive. He needs to dodge this, and Oa does not have the mana. Will go down, and Lubby on a dominating spree. In the meantime, backlines of this fight, play hard, going to be looking to finish off Miracle, and they do manage it with that cold feet, and now you've got Jacko sieging from the sidelines. Finishes off the Jakiro, now looking for potentially for Kai, who is still hanging around with KS and with Dapper. This could be a very aggressive move here from FD, considering they're 2 members down, but I don't think we're going to see any rotation on.
Yeah, I mean, the way the Miracle actually ran back in with the haste rune, although he was rather low on HP, and of course Hex was also stolen by the Rubik, helping out a little bit there. He went in so deep, he thought like, oh come on, it's supports only, we can take them. But no, they could not, especially since Tinker just came in, heat-seeking missiles to help out there with the kills. And Mineski, it actually started off rather bad for them, losing the courier. Timbersaw got caught there without any mana at all, and actually, oh, Tinker, he blinks into 2. Oh, but Lobby, he blinks out at the exact same time, so Kai can't go for it himself, and he actually might go down. Ice Blast to fly over him. One right click, and Tafa is there, he pops the Ravage. Do they actually follow up for this? I'm not too sure they do. Miracle a little bit too far away. Lobby, blink, Edershock, still alive. And they're the ones on the run now, on the defensive. Lobby is definitely gonna get chased down by Ova at the moment. A few more right clicks, actually Shackles, he's buying himself some time. But Playhard steals himself the Ice Path, uses it as well, but it's actually a 3 for 2 in the end.
3 for 2 in favor of First Departure, but now comes the question here. Can FD capitalize off this at all? You've got Miracle still lurking nearby, but Oa is here, wants to get some good damage off, gets 1 Timber Chain. Do we have any extra damage? We've got the Whirling Death, but where is the mana for Oa? Does he have enough to keep this up? The Chakram's going to drop, but this has completely drained the mana of Oa. Now you've got the initiation from KS, and completely caught out of position. I can't see Oa escaping this one, and he very much overstayed his welcome. Potentially can still go down to KS, but in the meantime, we do have Joven starting to chop apart the Jakiro. But is it enough? I don't think it is. We've still got the turnaround. Miracle just will come back in, drop the liquid fire, slowing down Joven's attack speed by 50%. But in comes the Tinker, and this is what they needed. The rockets to drop, and down goes the Jakiro off the back of this one. Do we have the chase? Yes, we damn well do. Lasers, rocket, that's 2. Now looking for 3. Can we get anyone else? They're going to look for Jesse Vash. Lubby wants to get the counter kill, and at least First Departure will get something for their loss here. But they did commit the Mass Serpent Wards for this near the end of that fight, so their effectiveness in this one was very limited.
Yeah, and Tinker just keeps on getting gold as well from these fights. He has to take on level 1 now. And this fight, I mean, he just doesn't die all too much at the moment, to be honest. He's 9-3-3. So, First Departure, the story is pretty much the same. They're getting decent trades every now and then. Sometimes favorable for them, sometimes favorable for Mineski. But rather even in most cases, although just with their lineup, the design of it, they need more by this point, and we do see 1 pushing item, at least at the making of it. Necrobook level 1 on Miracle.
It's going to help, but you say we need to see more. I would normally be inclined to agree. We're still seeing a gold lead for First Departure, and it's building. This isn't really getting stopped. It's a very spiky graph, I will admit to you. But still, it is building for First Departure, and if they can keep up this momentum before Jacko gets anything else other than the Stegen 1, that's going to be a very strong position for them to be in. But we still need to see something along the lines of a pipe come up for First Departure. And speaking of pipe, we do have the hood at least complete onto Fada, onto Daffa even.
Oh, actually he has the pipe flying out to him now, so that's a pretty decent enough timing, I think, on top of his blink, just 21 minutes in. They have destroyed 4 towers as well, so that's some of their gold lead. At least they are 2 towers ahead. Ice Blast to fly into Roshan Pit, which hasn't respawned anyway.
In the meantime, Joven is pushing in this tier 1 tower on the bot lane, and if he can bring this down, it'll be nice, but he does not want to overextend. He does not want to hang around, and you've got to consider that is the right choice, considering we can see mass TPs from First Departure to defend any of these lanes. But the rotation is coming in. They could look for KS here, and Ice Path doesn't connect. Blink away by KS. The blink profit is real in this game. And he's now looking for that all-important sheep stick on that Nature's Prophet as well. So bringing the control is KS. Mid lane, however, they're going to turn around. They're going to go onto Oa. Now we get the potential fight we're looking for. And he's silenced up with that Orchid, so he's taking some good damage. And now in comes the rest of the CC. And that's going to lock down Oa before he can do anything. The Timbersaw not paying off so far.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have buyback either. So actually that's probably one of the best opportunities to push. Apart from a Tinker being dead at the same time. Ice Blast Flyable connects on every single hero that they had there. Telekinesis onto Miracle. They are healthy enough to continue. They still have the pipe. Actually, they already activated it. So they didn't take too much damage. And Liquid Fire slowly nibbling away at this tier 1. But in the meantime, Joven is just split pushing like a Lycan should, I guess, in this situation. He even has a PKB, so he is kind of indestructible now.
Well, this is one thing I did mention in the draft. When you see the Tide, the Lycan has to think of an early BKB, and he's even done that before in Necrobook. So it's going to at least help him out in terms of survivability and the ability to chase down the enemy heroes, since he'll no longer be stopped by the likes of Kai, by the likes of the Shadow Shaman of Lubby. It's all going to start to add up here for this Lycan and for Mineski. But now they need to use these items, they need to get the right fights, they need to initiate, and they need to start getting towers. The tier 1 in the mid, still standing, and fairly healthy, I'll point out. And you've still got the tier 2 standing, of course, in favour of First Departure. Whereas, on the flip side of this coin, all the tier 1s are dead, and the mid-tier 2 for Mineski, which is a very bad place to be when you consider what you're actually up against and how squishy the lineup of First Departure is compared to your own.
Yeah, and actually, they're not that squishy anymore at all. I mean, H-Prophet working towards his sheepstick by the looks of it, so Ultimate Orb boosting up his health a little bit. Jakiro sitting at 1.5k HP almost, Necrobook boosting his strength that little bit as well. Tidehunter is as tanky as always. The supports really are the biggest issue for them. I mean, 800 HP, actually now suddenly point booster on Lobby as well, so yes, it's still pretty easy to bring them down if you have a Timbersaw and Ice Blast connecting, especially Tinker spamming everything. But it could be worse for them.
I completely agree. It could be much worse, and I'm actually surprised it isn't much worse. But now you've got Jacko sieging the Roshan pit with the marching machines, looking to do what he can, especially with those rockets flying out. Deathwood, however, being channeled by Lubby, and they will manage to get at least 2 for their trade. And at this point in, Jacko's Tinker could not do enough to stop this fight from happening, and it was just a complete turnaround, and in some ways a complete clusterbuck.
Oh man, this was a huge fight for them. This is going to mean a free Roshan pretty much, of course. Tinker just keeps on TPing into the walls, trying to stop things down. Kai with his heal, I think he's going to have enough. They have the mech actually still on cooldown, unfortunately. Pipe is there if they really need it. They activated now as well. Bloodstone finished on the Timbersaw. But the biggest thing in that fight was that they didn't give him like an opportunity to activate the BKB. Just blink, Hex, Shackles follow up. Nothing was there to stop the Shackles at the same time. And they just brought him down before he activated anything at all.
And now with Roshan going down in favour of First Departure, hell, the Aegis even being picked up by Miracle on that Jakiro, this is a very bad place to be if you're Mineski. Now you've got a team that has a lot of push available to them, with an Aegis, with advantage, barreling down your mid lane. And we consider we've got 39 kills in 24 minutes. This is the epitome of an aggressive game. Much more aggressive than I thought it would be in favour of First Departure. And even if we look at the graphs, they say First Departure has an advantage. That's a 5k gold lead and now a 3k experience lead off the back of a very steep slope.
Yeah, that was a pretty huge swing, to be honest.
Yeah, that's a colossal swing.
Oh, but Ice Blast connection to Lobby gets telekinesed up, Heatseek and misses as well. Bye-bye. Actually, Hex picked up at the same time as Joven activated his BKB for almost nothing, I want to say.
I'd agree. I don't think we needed to see the BKB used here, and that was the 10-second BKB being used, which is a big investment just for getting a Shadow Shaman. You would generally hope for more, but KS rotates to the top lane. He wants to start pushing this tower down. I can completely understand that they need to get these tier 2s down, start the split push rolling, and keep Mineski guessing. If First Departure can keep Mineski on their toes, they are going to have a much easier time in breaching the high ground. And it is breaching the high ground that is the end goal. I mean, towers mean nothing, racks means everything at the end of the day.
I guess both of them want to push a little bit more, especially Mineski with a Lycan, of course. But they haven't had the ability to do so. Miracle, though, might be in trouble mid lane. He's already backing off. Wolves were just constantly tracking him. And Wolves are so annoying to deal with. And actually, he's going to get slowed down by the Chakram. Wow, that burst.
The burst out of Mineski now is starting to become insane. They have that damage onto Jackal, but now you've got Mass Serpent Wolves. They're going to go straight into Jackal. If they can bring that Tinker down, that's going to be huge, and he will fall. Now they get the turnaround. They're going to use the Death Ward. They're investing it for play hard. That's one. Now they want Oa. Can they bring Oa down? I don't think they can. And on the back lines, you do get KS picking up the Ancient Apparition. So that's a 3-for-0 trade in favour of First Departure. I suppose it's a 3 for an Aegis, but that is still a trade you will accept any day of the week.
Yeah, Tinker just shouldn't have come this close. He should have spammed his spells from a distance. Because I do believe they would have been able to bring him down once anyway as it is. But since he went like literally next to the Jakiro, he was packed off into the corner there. And Ice Path actually got him from a long distance anyway. So looks like this is going to be Rex.
It should be, and honestly, off the back of losing crew members like that, First Departure needed an objective. They needed these racks. This is going to help them set up for other lanes. It's going to put so much pressure on the side of Mineski, and this is a sub 30 minutes racks. It's perfect for them. They got what they needed. Generally, with a lineup like theirs, we would have wanted to see it sooner, but they are fighting into a Timbersaw and a Lycan, so it's not the easiest job.
Yeah, and this just makes the graph spiral even more in First Departure's favor now. It was rather even. Mineski, they were definitely doing what was necessary against the nature of the lineup that First Departure has. But now it's an 8,000 gold lead for First Departure, almost a 5k XP as well. And Mineski, they just can't keep having bad fights like that. And the Tinker, he's also going for a Bloodstone, it looks like at the moment.
I'm not sure I like the Bloodstone Tinker in this case. Generally, if he wants any form of mana regeneration, I would say he would want a Hex, a Scythe of Vice, anything other than a Bloodstone. I mean, sure, technically I think he can refresh the Bloodstone, but is that really what you want to be doing as a Tinker?
I would think not. You
Exactly.
definitely don't want to lose any of the charges as it is. I mean, it's not like Mineski are out of it. One Rax definitely isn't too much for them to handle with a Tinker on their lineup. But First Departure, they also have just the Roshan advantage. So they'll most likely be able to snatch the secondary Aegis as well. And the Timbersaw, although he started off just excellently, getting the first blood, kind of crushing the lane, getting even a solo kill there, I do believe, a couple of minutes after that. But from there on, he's just completely died off, I want to say.
I'd be inclined to agree. He's lost his advantage, and right now, First Departure have done what they need to do. They've taken out, let's say, of Rax, they've put the pressure onto Mineski, and they've got Mineski off balance. They've got them on tilt. It is pretty much everything First Departure needed, and now they're going to start shunting other lanes. They want to get this tier 2 on the bottom lane. And there is still, of course, the tier 2 on the top lane, which is a little more damaged, and they could split push with the Nature's Prophet, but it seems we're going to see a straight-up brawl, potentially, as Miracle's starting to set up for this. Going to drop the Necro units and start some siege onto this tower. We've also got, of course, the Nature's Prophet rotating in from the sideline by KS. And this could be a very big fight going the way of First Departure if they can bring this down. The tower still falling, and, well, at this point, I don't think they can hold the tier 2. They need to defend at the high ground, but in comes the Tinker once again. Ice Path. No, it's going to be a cancel from the Tinker. Doesn't want to go into that, and I completely understand that. Miracle, however, wants to chase down. He wants more, and they want to go high ground off this. They certainly can. They're all healthy. They've got all of their ultimates, and they're all at full health. It's going to make this a very easy potential high ground here. March is going to try to hold it. Miracle will still walk through the March and just drop a casual liquid fire on the tower and set this up. Mass 7 wants to be commit as well, and as we both said in the draft, March of the Machines cannot stop this. The only thing it can stop is potentially the heroes, and Lubby will take a fall here to the Ice Blast, but do we see any chase for this? Are they going to go for more? Kai is ready to turn around, does not have that Death Ward available, doesn't have the mana right now, and he's trying to heal, but KS, he's out last second, does not want to hang around, and now we get the chase from Oa, looking with that Timbersaw, force some damage. They're going to go straight onto Kai, and if they can bring down Kai, that's going to be brilliant, but the cast drops around, stops Oa at least for a half second, and with one more Chakram, that will spell his doom. But Miracle still here Invis. He's hiding away. He's got a good 10 seconds left on his Invis rune, and if he can get anything off the back of the Invis, that's perfect. If he can escape from the Invis, not as good, but still decent. However, we do have the rotation back in from KS and from Dapper. They're going to go onto Oa once more, who's silenced up with that Orchid, now frozen. Does he have any other CC to lock him down? It's not needed with that Hex, and down goes Oa on that Timbersaw. There's very little the Timber can do if he's locked down, and I wouldn't have been surprised to see an earlier BKB from the Timbersaw just to stop himself getting hexed and CC'd like this.
Well, he did have 12 Bloodstone charges before actually dying here, so his respawn is pretty damn fast. At least that's gonna go in their favor for sure. He's already back up. Looking at the graph, 10k gold lead for First Departure. XPD dropped down a little bit with the last fight, but the push is just keeping going, and they have the Ravage. It's level 3 as well. They can easily just force the issue, blink in Ravage if they really want to take it.
I'd completely agree, and while that's happening, you've got split push top lane. KS wants the tier 2, and certainly getting some work on it. Tinker, however, is going to blink in, but of course KS has his own blink. He's not going to get caught out by any stretch of the imagination, but the relentless aggression continues here from First Departure. They want to get themselves the tier 3 and the racks on this bottom lane. 4 heroes set up to push this one in. Prophet split pushing. What more can you ask for here from First Departure?
To be honest, man, this is the second time today I've seen them run a rather different lineup than you usually would see, and they're just making it work. The first time was like, they had the Juggernaut support, Omni Knight mid lane, and a Crystal Maiden support as well. I don't even remember the other heroes, Faceless Void +1, but they're just playing it right, the itemization, and just when to go on to what lane and whatnot. And there's double BKB finished. Miracle just needs his coming out from the courier, but KS on the Nature's Prophet has his own finished. So they can definitely just stand their ground now.
Well, if they can stand their ground to the amount of machines, going to be absolutely perfect. And you mentioned they've pulled off some unorthodox drafts, like the support juggernaut. Unorthodox is the line between madness and genius. It's a brilliant thing to see. But now Miracle going to continue the liquid fire siege, and let's see if we can get another fight going. In the meantime, the top tier 2 did fall to KS on his Nature's Prophet, and the split push is certainly paying off. And the siege from Miracle, he just puts up a liquid fire, and that could be the tower falling in a few more strikes. I mean, liquid fire lasts 5 seconds. It does 15 damage a second to the building, and the building cannot mitigate that 15 at all.
It's a pretty damn sick amount of damage to burst. And oh man, Lobby, he has Aghanim Scepter on the Shadow Shaman now. So Mass Serpent was also boosted up. They popped the Necro 3, they popped the pipe.
Here we go.
They mean business.
Here they go. The Tinker's going to try to come in, but Mass Serpent was already dropped. They're going to bring down the tier 3 in no time at all. Tinker needs to come into this and start dropping some March, but is it too little too late? KS on the background, all the BKBs being deployed. You've got Joven trying to do some good work, but there is just too much damage coming out of Miracle. Ravage going to be commit now as well. They're going to bring down both supports. Now they're going to turn around, look for Joven, and they've got him trapped in the trees. He's going to be forced to TP out, but Ice Path drops, stops the TP out. Now Shackles, Oa coming in, trying to get some good damage, gets some damage onto Dapper. Fateful, is it going to be enough to bring down the Tide? No, it is not, and the Tide is still healthy. And certainly, Oa wants to try to bring him down, but he's hexed up. He's not going to be able to go anywhere, and with the Necro 3 unit still chipping away on him, he's going nowhere and getting no more aggression. But that is a full set of racks in favor of First Departure.
Yeah, they're now 2 racks ahead. They have a Nature's Prophet. They just have all the push they need, really. Aghanim Scepter, Mass Serpent Wars as well. To be honest, they can just split push all day long now, and Mineski might not even have the chance to come back into this game. First Departure, if you're this far ahead, the lanes are constantly going to be pushing in. Nothing will most likely stop them from getting just Roshan after Roshan, ages after ages, cheese from the 3rd Roshan onwards as well. They are so far ahead, and Lycan, Heart of Tarrasque, could he have gone for a better item?
I would like to think he could have gone for something push-oriented, something that would give him some momentum on these towers, but you got to consider, he's up against a lineup which have the ability to CC and nuke him down. It's a hard one to call, and the Heart, I guess the Heart does make some sense, but it doesn't give him enough in terms of damage in my mind. I mean, even a Basher into a Abyssal Blade would have been very nice, but it's a very hard one to call. I mean, I can't make that call, in all honesty. It's a case of, we're behind. Do we just want to survive, or do we want to try to get something on the board at the risk of losing our own towers?
Well, in a sense that maybe Joven, he can be kind of the frontline tank, although First Departure, I don't think they will fall for it, since it's not an RPG game, MMORPG game where there's an actual tank and the NPC, the computer just right-clicks only that guy who has the threat or so. It doesn't work in a game of Dota. First Departure, if they're smart enough, they will just kind of ignore the Lycan because they're... Yeah, he does some damage, but it's not too scary for us at the moment. Let's just kill the Tinker and be done with it.
Well, if they can kill the Tinker and be done with it, that's absolutely fine, but that's not what First Departure want at this point. They've got the Aegis, they're going to start rotating most likely for this top lane, even KS already being here. Want to start getting some pressure down onto this final set of racks. Certainly, play hard, getting a little aggressive. In comes the Tinker, Telekinesis should be there. Can they bring down KS in time? Yes, they damn well can. He does not have the Aegis to bring him back, but there is rotation coming through. Dapper is here. They want to go for more. Do they have the Ravage? Yes, they do. And it'll be commit as well. That's only for play hard, though. He will go down to the rest of the team. In the meantime, blink away by Jacko. Does not want to be caught out of position. That's a 1-for-1 trade, a Nature's Prophet for a Rubik. So slightly in favor of Mineski, considering the Ravage was commit as well. But at this point in, we could just see that Death Ball starting to develop down this top lane. And Mineski could be in a lot of trouble here. If they lose this final set of racks, it's all over but for the crying.
Well, it's the good thing about First Departure. They don't really actually even have to commit. Nature's Prophet doesn't have to buy back if he doesn't want to. Because the other lanes will be pushing in. March the Machines, so actually Necrobook's already down. They want to go in. And Joven, he's there with the BKB. Does he do enough damage, Dafa? With the Shiva's card, definitely not a good choice for him to go for. Nature's Prophet, he buys back as well, Dafa. He's actually dropping low. Ice Blast still on him. 17-second duration. Can Joven do it? He needs to kill something, but Paralyzing Cask stops it for a little while. He does get the kill in the end. Kai might be falling as well, but in the meantime, just in the base, the racks, they are dropping down slowly over. Together with Jacko, they are defending it as Jay kills off Kai in the meantime. A miracle, he wants the last liquid fire, but he's gonna fall with his life. Melee racks, though, will go down.
And now it's only a range Rax, and they do not regenerate. This is going to be very effective here for the lineup of First Apache. They've got everything they want from this. They all go down. It's a full 5-man wipe in favor of Mineski, but with only the range Rax still standing and a Nature's Prophet that can just TP there and kill it if he wants to, I'm wondering if Mineski can actually turn this around. And we do have a gem on the deck as well. Will be picked up by Playhard. And now I wonder, can they actually capitalize off of this full 5-man wipe, or will they fall effectively? Because if they don't get something now, I don't think they're going to be able to stand and hold this at all.
Yeah, but I just really don't see them getting anything out of this. Yes, they could push out top lane, which is the only lane that you can actually go for Rax straight away. Mid lane, the tier 1, for God's sake, is still standing in a game with like 37 minutes in.
I mean, I completely thought that First Apache got outdrafted. They lost in terms of survivability on the heroes, but their skill completely made up for the lack of health pool. I mean, sure, you've got a lot of nuke potentially on Oa, as well as the Lycan and the Tinker, but there's no real use for all of that nuke and damage potential if your heroes get CC'd up by Hex, Shackles, the plethora of CC on the Nature's Prophet. It adds up, and now we get the Ice Blast going to connect onto the tier 3, and you get the rotation in from the full side of Mineski. They want to try to get this tier 3 tower down and something for their effort, but are they going to be able to bring this down in time? Nature's Prophet's up in 15 seconds. You've got Joven being pushed back, Tinker's back in the fight now, more March to come, Jacko keeping the pressure up. They're trying to at least bring down a tier 3, but can they do it? The siege is going to be a long...
Look at Shadow Shaman! Backdoor in the making from lobby. Just goes in, he wants the last range Rex, he has the blink as well, he's going to get close enough for it. Mass Serpent Wars down, I don't think they can defend it. They have the glyph though, they can buy some time, they need to get the Mass Serpent Wars down fast. Actually, they got stolen, Playhard gets hexed up, Lobby though will fall, one more laser. Jacko, he does get the kill. They actually clean off the Mass Serpent Wars, so they hold on. But
that is sneaky. That is ninja level tactics coming out of First Departure, and it nearly paid off. Nearly.
At least they got just all the focus away from their own base, like literally one hero, one support hero to just throw it all.
I'd completely agree, and now we've got the push starting to build up in this mid lane, and we do need to see a push from somewhere from the side of Mineski. Otherwise, we could just see a Nature's Prophet TP in and finish that off quite easily in my mind. It's all it would take. Just one blink or one TP in from KS, and it's a dead range Rax. I mean, how much health has it got left? 283. At this point, the Nature's Prophet could sneeze, and they're actually just going to keep committing Necro units for this. In comes the melee Necro unit, completely blitzed down by Jacko. The range one got a few swings off, took down... Oh, how much health did it do? It did 130 of the remaining 283 health. They're not even committing heroes at this point, and that range Rax is nearly down.
They just can't keep all the lanes pushed out and be able to just push into the enemy base at the same time. It can't be done at the moment, it looks like.
No, but Mineski don't want to go down without a fight, and they're keeping the pressure up, but where is the next sneaky strategy going to come in from First Departure? I wonder. We do see the full fallback here from the side of First Departure back to their base, since they don't really want to fight the full 3 cores of Mineski out in the lane, but in the meantime...
Look at Lobby! Oh, that smoke, man, that smoke.
Oh, they're going to go straight for it.
There's no glyph.
No, there's no glyph. And do we have a Mass Serpent Ward in 2 seconds? 1 second. Mass Serpent Wards to be committed. That's going to be mega creeps. It's all over. In all honesty, it's got to be over, but you've still got a full 4-man push, plus a Mass Serpent Ward that was stolen here by Mineski on this top tower. They want at least 1 Rax for their efforts here. And now we could have the fight to end all fights. It is a effective base race at this point, but it's a base race that, in my mind, that Mineski cannot win, especially when you've got KS on the tier 4 towers. The first one goes down, the second one falls. They're looking for something. In the meantime, Joven caught under the Ancient with the Death Ward down by Kai, but that Death Ward's hitting no one at this point, and Fada repelling the play hard Rubik. And still, the Ancient just taking too much damage at this point. Jacko comes in to try to hold this. They're going to use March. They're going to try to repel Mega Creeps, it seems. Now, on the flip side of this coin, Oa taking a fall inside the base. He uses his Bloodstone last second for a suicide. And where is the defense? Is there any defense? Any hope of holding this for Mineski?
They can hold, but only for so long. They definitely can push in return. So, literally, I think there is almost no way for them to GG unless they wipe First Departure, so that they don't have any buybacks, sell like most of their items for all of them to get Necro level 3s, and just go push like crazy. But even then, I just don't see that scenario happening.
Well, they're going to at least try and hold Megas, and that's not the easiest task.
And
Especially
Jakiro
when
even
you've
has
got
an
to
AC
consider-
now.
Yeah, Jakira with an AC, that's going to help out. But when you consider there's a near 20,000 gold lead in favour of First Departure, can you really stand and hold that?
Actually, funny enough, Mineski, they have an XP lead. So, I guess just they have been getting the majority of the kills themselves. But First Departure, they have been running against the racks, so they get racks, they die, they don't care. They come again, get another set of racks, and Miracle. He's going for a straight out base at the moment. Lobby is there as well. The Hex actually not even used. My Serpent Wars down. I don't think they can hold. No,
This is surely it. A very good defense by Mineski, but it cannot hold up to the push out of First Departure. And First Departure, with an unorthodox strategy nonetheless, managed to take the game.
just extremely well played by them. No way to just put it elsewise, otherwise. But guys, this was only game number 1 in a 2-game series, so we're gonna have game number 2 coming up in just a couple of minutes time, most likely, where Mineski, they definitely want to draw up the series to just not lose 2-0 straight out. But I think, Blackadder, you are gonna go on to HeflaTV 1 live now, right?
Indeed, I have another series coming up, and it'll be Squeen's squad up against Hee in the JDL EU Division 1.
So if anyone's interested in that, you can join into HeflaTV 1. The game should start in about half an hour. And of course, you can also follow Mr. Blackadder at Mr_Blackadder on both Twitch as well as Twitter, right?
Indeed. Thank you very much.
Yes. Guys, so just stay tuned for game number 2. We're going to head straight there. And if you want to support us, you can follow us. All the links are below the stream that you will need. But see you in game 2.